This other little lovely graphic that you're seeing, $12 and $13 tickets for this game. $12 and $13 tickets for this game. Now tell me again, everything's cool in the Indiana Fever fandom, right?
$12. Take a moment to consider that particular, terrifying figure. $12. That is the unquestionable current market price to enter a professional arena and witness the world's most well-known, financially successful female athlete. A movie ticket costs more than $12. Even with a price tag that essentially ruins Dream's benevolent giveaway, it is less than 2 cups of high-quality coffee. Unquestionably, there were a lot of vacant seats in the arena when the Indiana Fever played the Nigerian national team. We are not discussing a few isolated nosebleed absences. Massive blocks, whole rows, and entire areas devoid of human life are what we are referring to. Despite their best efforts, the network cameras were unable to conceal it. Social media quickly turned those pictures into a weapon, making a preseason show into the loudest and most financially destructive statement the Caitlin Clark fanbase has ever made. This is not an outlier in the scheduling. This is a well-planned and masterfully executed financial declaration of war against a company that has essentially taken its customers for granted.
There's about 5 minutes left in the second quarter, and all of a sudden, there's an overhead shot of this game. And you could already see there were a ton of empty seats in this place. A ton. And my goodness, this overhead shot, literally, the account that put this out, tons of empty seats, and this was...
Greetings from WNBA Pro. The Indiana Fever's executive suites and the WNBA front office should be trembling with sheer horror at the reverberating silence of those $12 seats. We are addressing this unprecedented fan boycott with a surgical scalpel today. We are revealing the disastrous roster depth issue that led to it. Additionally, we are dissecting the impending do-or-die deadline that has the potential to drastically change this franchise's financial status. Today, we are rejecting the fluff of the mainstream media. We are examining raw data, psychological warfare, and the horrifying truth of what happens in real time when a billion-dollar hype train derails. Let's immediately apply a rigorous mathematical analysis to these attendance figures. Because the reason this is so concerning is the historical background. The Indiana Fever drew an incredible 17,036 spectators each game on average during Caitlin Clark's spectacular first season in 2024. Every night, Gainbridge Fieldhouse was sold out. In order to accommodate the crowds, rival road teams were urgently moving games to enormous NBA arenas due to the historically abnormal demand from the public. In addition to being a basketball star, Caitlin Clark was the largest traveling economic stimulus package in American sports. Even in 2025, a pointless game in Iowa City was literally packed. Just to see her stretch, many were willing to pay high rates. However, the building turned into a ghost town on Saturday night against the 8th-ranked Nigerian national team, with premium seats costing as much as a fast food lunch. You will be forcefully misled by the mainstream media. They'll claim it was only a practice match. They will claim that Saturday nights are hectic, but WNBA Pro is fully aware of the reality. The fanbase's fast declining, extremely poisonous mood is the stark, alarming contrast between those sold-out arenas and Saturday's empty seats.
Pre-halftime. Correct. There was about 5 minutes left before the half when this shot came up. And it led me, there were so many empty seats, I actually went over and had pulled up the following graphic that I'm going to put up in front of you, which is, that is the layout from Ticketmaster. Everything in the blue had tickets available for this game. And also this other little lovely graphic that you're seeing.
The Indiana Fever front office and Caitlin Clark's fanbase are embroiled in a high-stakes Cold War, and months of perceived disrespect and executive incompetence are directly responsible for this financial uprising. It all began on draft night when the best primary ball handler in college history was mistakenly referred to as an on-and-off ball player by the coaching staff. When management seized microphones and called worried fans complainers, it became more heated. When management attempted to convert recognized defensive liabilities into combo guards rather than hiring qualified veteran players, it got worse. However, the morning following the Fever's humbling 15-point loss to the Dallas Wings, the stress reached a breaking point. Caitlin Clark scored an incredible 21 points on 66% shooting in that game. However, her squad fell apart the moment she went to the bench. And what was the Indiana Fever PR team's reaction to this heartbreaking, revealing defeat? They uploaded a hype video created by artificial intelligence that was tone deaf. Rather than confront the obvious existential problem on the court, they literally fed their fans computer-generated garbage. That was the last straw. For 3 weeks in a row, the fans threatened to speak with their wallets. They delivered that message with brutal efficiency on Saturday night. They consciously decided to discontinue giving rewards to a franchise that abuses their resources, including time and money.
$12 and $13 tickets for this game. $12 and $13 tickets for this game. Now tell me again, everything's cool in the Indiana Fever fandom, right? Is that what we're trying to say? Because no, it does not look that way. And even though this game, obviously, against Nigeria was a blowout, in a lot of ways, it proved some people right. The Fever scored 15 points to Nigeria's 12 in the third quarter.
The terrible lack of roster depth is the unquestionable source of this rage. Modern sports fans are astute, they are aware of analytics, and they will not pay NBA-level fees to watch a roster that has been depleted fail at fundamental basketball the moment their top player leaves the court. Let's examine the horrifying statistics from that game in Dallas. The Fever were outscored 36-17 during Caitlin Clark's absence in the second quarter. The instant the engine died, a competitive game became a blowout. Supermax veteran Kelsey Mitchell recorded a terrible -18 after shooting a pitiful 4 of 12. Important role players received precisely 0 points. Every dark fear the fan base had was validated by that one horrifying performance. When supporters witness a team's home loss by double digits, they begin to doubt reality in spite of their franchise players' outstanding performance. They question if the front staff truly created a challenger for the championship or whether they were just extremely fortunate to choose her in the first round and failed to surround her with WNBA caliber players. The market thinks this lineup is worth exactly $12 for tickets, when Caitlin Clark isn't spending 40 minutes every night as a superhero. Now, the match against Nigeria on Saturday did provide some tactical answers. When credit is strictly due, give it. When Aaliyah Boston made her eagerly awaited comeback, she completely altered the court's geometry. A startling +21 rating with 6 assists in 10 minutes. Boston loses 21 assists as a center if you extend that to 36 minutes. Kelsey Mitchell, an attacking center akin to Nikola Jokic, recovered with a perfect 3 for 3 from outside the arc. Michaela Timpson was flawless. They won by a huge margin of 105-57, and the ball movement was flawless. However, this is the terrible truth about consumer psychology. That redemption journey was not visible to the fans who remained home on Saturday night. The perfect ball movement was not visible to them. They just witnessed the catastrophe in Dallas. After reading the harsh criticism, they all agreed that $12 was still too much to pay to support a front office they no longer trusted. There is a possibly lethal confidence gap in the Fever. The GM's vision, the coaching staff's load management, and the bench's ability to maintain a lead are all untrustworthy to the fans. And this pricing detail ought to send the accounting department into a complete panic. Tickets for the preseason cost $12, but the May 9th regular season opening versus the Dallas Wings? A game on national television? The starting price for tickets is $97. The markup is 800%. The front staff is logically insane to think that if supporters are clearly avoiding the venue for $12, they will willingly fill that space at $97. At that price, lose 5,000 fans? That's over $500,000 gone in one night. You may see $10 million disappearing over the course of a 20-game home schedule. This is a huge financial loss rather than only a PR disaster. This degree of broken trust has only one remedy. This cannot be fixed by any marketing effort, promotional offer, or AI video. I am the only remedy.
Passing the ball in. Good stuff. Good stuff. But, boy, I got to tell you. Woo-wee. Couple things pretty evident tonight, I would say, during this game. Lack of depth. And clearly, look, before everybody starts saying, oh, but that was right before halftime, blah, blah, blah.
On May 9th, in opposition to the Dallas Wings. On ABC. That's the real moment. If the Indiana Fever, with a fully healthy roster, brutally win the first game. Boston anchors the paint, and the bench actually has the lead if Clark starts the offense. Overnight, the story changes. The market corrects itself, ticket sales soar, and the fan base vigorously re-engages. One decisive victory is a magical cure-all. But think about the worst-case scenario. What would happen if they lost? What would happen if Caitlin Clark dropped 30 points but the supporting cast fell apart once more?